Hey guys, so today I'm trying to get myself a legendary character in Fortress Saga. It's like a newish AFK idle game that just came out, and I've actually been having quite a bit of fun with it. It is, it's one of those games that has just like a lot to do and a lot of buttons to press. So I played through the intro and kind of hit that point where it slows down, and that gave me 150 summons, scouts, whatever they're going to call it in this game. And that's what this video is today. So there's the first epic I got, Bjorn. He's actually pretty decent. He has a passive skill once you level him up that just gets you more experience points, and that's really valuable. I used Hoya there for a little bit too in the beginning, but I dropped her for someone else you'll see coming up in a little bit. Most of these characters, I kind of like their designs. They're not all great though. The art style doesn't really do a whole lot for me. And yeah, I'm not super crazy about it. These little guys, this one kind of bugs me. And oh, actually, hold on. This is my first legendary here, Bernhard. This guy's an absolute beast. He just tore it up for me, and I probably cleared a lot more of the early game than I was supposed to before the wheels fall off. Like, you know, when you're playing one of these idle games, there's always like that point that like they kind of feed you stuff constantly until you reach a certain point, and then you can't progress further without waiting or watching ads or whatever. It's like that first hour or two to get you addicted to the game. That guy probably pushed me further past that. But yes, some of these guys, let's see if one of these comes up soon. Some of these smaller units, these rares and unique units, are actually really good once they get their passives, so I want to play around with a lot of these. But the instinct is to just go ahead and use these epic units like Annie here. She is actually a phenomenal unit in this game, and I think part of the opening quest line will continuously just give you more and more of her, so you can power her up really, really fast. I find myself not wanting to use her because there's other characters that have really good passive bonuses. But at this point, because I've done a couple of those quest lines, she's kind of just like surpassed them in strength, and now I'm kind of stuck in this loop. Which is kind of one thing about this game, because the game is so much about progressing, and you need to use your strongest characters to progress, but you want to use these characters that have more beneficial abilities, like more gold finding and more experience points. And early on in the game, you can only use 2 or 3 of these characters at any given time. There's another cool epic there. And this guy Bruce, this big fat shark man you see coming up, I noticed a lot of the people on the charts, like their rankings, are using him. He has a really good passive where he gives you bonus damage to allies. So you can use like 2 really strong DPS units and him, and that seems to work really well for some people. I haven't tried it yet myself because I'm just waiting. I am using her though, Amber. She's one of those units that gives you more gold or more experience or something like that. Now, I know my thoughts on this are really scattered, but a lot of these are repeats. There doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of units in this game. It has just launched in the last week or so, so obviously they only have so many units. And like I think there's probably only maybe 5 or 6 legendary units in the game right now. I don't know how many epics there are. And then, like I said, you don't really use a lot of these weaker characters, even though they're probably worth using in some way. Although, I don't know, their stats are just so much lower that even though I find myself liking some of the designs of weaker characters, they're absolute fodder. Like this mouse dude here, I'm probably never going to use them. Even when I look at the leaderboards, nobody else seems to be using them. And because the game gives you, like, in this video, 150 summons, like 150 of them after like 2 or 3 hours of play, who would ever use those? You're going to pick up a dozen epic units. You might pick up a legendary unit. There's my another Annie. But anyways, here's just more and more of these rare units, which is almost laughable because I don't think there's like a common unit. At least I haven't seen anything that's less than rare. It starts at rare, goes to unique, epic. Oh, here's another legendary coming. This guy I was really excited for, the Solom the Dwarf Lord. I like his design. I love those dwarf-type characters. But one problem I noticed with him was that he has all kinds of defensive abilities. Like, he puts shields on your fortress and stuff. And it just seems like maybe later on there's some event or some dungeon where that's important. But really, it just seems about how fast can you kill things. You could put no points into defense whatsoever, and you'd probably succeed fairly well. And I find that like my levels for all my offensive abilities are way higher at this point, and I'm using all offensive based characters to push levels. So that second legendary there, Solom, he is really cool. But I'm just not using him. I'm saving my resources to put it into characters that either boost acquisition of resources or do a ton of damage. That Necromancer guy that just passed there, he actually is cool, and I want to play around with him. He's the only one I've seen so far that is a summoner. He'll summon skeletons and throw them onto the field, and then his second ability that he gets once you upgrade him just brings out more of them as you go. And there's another Annie. See, the game just kept throwing Annies at me, and then the quest gave me even more of them, so that was really nice. I think I've lost count of how many we've done so far. There's probably 2 or 3 sets of 10 left. Like, I did at least 150 here. It was a lot, and it was cool, but like I said, not enough characters in this game yet to get super excited about it, and the way they limit the progression of characters early on, you don't really feel like you're building a team as much as just putting best in slot in. I imagine once you advance that on and you start playing around with passive abilities and all that, it's going to open up and be a bit more interesting. But right now, I'm not super intrigued by that part of the game. There is a lot of different ways to upgrade your stuff, though. So if you like idle games and you like really busy ones, this is the one for you. If you like a more passive idle game where you pop in for like 10 minutes every day or like once or twice every hour, this game might not be for you. If you're already out there and you're playing this game and you're higher ranked than me, around 2,000, let me know what your team is, and I'd be really interested to see if there's something better I could be doing. That looks like my last epic right there, so I'm going to take off. You guys have a good one.